Anyway, hope you're doing really well. So today we're going to tick one off the list for Phoenix history, meaning that this one's been done to death. But I thought I'd introduce you to it on my channel. That's right, this one is the Sarre Battle Headquarters. Hope you enjoy your history lesson. Let's do this. Sarre Brigade headquarters started being built in 1940 by the engineers of the 1st Canadian Pioneer Battalion, whose job it was to make an all-round defence of the village due to its strategic importance, being a key road junction on the approach to the Isle of Thanet. Built on a former quarry site, the headquarters is made up of 3 stairways, of which 2 lead into the main corridor, with 4 brick rooms split into 2 sections. However, what makes this headquarters really interesting is that the western end of the complex seems to be unfinished, having been unlined with rotting timber pit props. An extract to the war diary of the 553rd Field Company states that on the 13th of January 1941, work had started on completion of the headquarters after the Canadians the year before had started work on 2 shafts and 1 gallery, but not finished it. In fact, it was civilians who had been employed to finish work on the headquarters whilst under charge of the 553rd Field Company Sergeant. When finally on the 7th of April 1941 the battle headquarters was handed over to the 128th Infantry Brigade. The role of the brigade headquarters was to be the subordinate of the battle headquarters at Canterbury. This was to form a network of battle headquarters established by South East Army Command. The last military occupants were the 131st Infantry Brigade, who took over in the same year of 1941. But as the war moved on, eventually this, like with most World War II structures, became relics of a war-torn era. With its current state, it's only a matter of time before nature reclaims it forever. Right, okay. Here we are. The first thing you see is this corridor, which actually was the tunnel. They called it the sort of tunnel which we were at the far end. So actually what you're looking at is the first entrance. Officially there was 2, but we're not going to worry about that. Officially there was 2, even though there's 3, but I'll tell you more about that when we get to that one. But let's have a look. My torch unfortunately is dying a death on me, but here you can see where the lighting would have been, or where it is, sorry. It will not be the biggest World War II structure you've ever seen in your life. But that's not the point. And to be fair, like I said, so many people have done this one that really, you know, this is just a one for the channel really, because I haven't done it, so yeah. But anyway. So this is the original 2nd entrance, which we'll look up. And as you can see, it's where they tried to infill. So that's where the 2nd entrance would have been. And you can see this is interesting because there's a couple of brackets there. Not sure exactly what that is. Could have been, I literally have no idea on that one. I'm always quite perplexed. We can go up there, however, you're not really missing out on anything. Come in here. Glass everywhere. You can tell how many people have been in here. You know. You see the moisture. Where at some point, you know, this will give way. Like I said, it's very small. That's the opposite end, literally there. You can see this chalk, look at the cracks in that. I could probably touch that and it'd fall, but let's not do it for today. But you can see how raw this is as a World War II structure. You can see there's bits of corrugated steel there. But we need to look at these rooms here. Now, this is a really great bit of detailing. It says Clark's internal section. Sec. And down here is a gully for, I'm assuming, electricals. If we go in, fortunately my torch might die. I might have to change my torches in a minute. So yeah, lots of graffiti. Oh, graffiti, I suppose it's, is it graffiti when it's chalk? Look at that, proper old school. Links, brewed in Holland. Knolls and Pills. Can you see the wooden framing that's there as well? So I'm trying to get in bits of detail for you. So originally these would have been wooden, almost like alcove bits, but they're not. They're there. So how many are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this. And then we'll go into the next one. And the next unit should be signals down there. We'll look at that in a minute. But that's brilliant, that. But again, like we said, time unfortunately is taking its toll on this place. Candles. Always candles. Little tea candles. And don't worry, we'll walk back as well so you get a second look at everything. Look at that, that's nice. Wow. Again, the wooden framing. Not exactly sure what the wooden framing was used for on this, if I'm being brutally honest. There is a limit to my knowledge, and that might be the limit. But at some point, you can imagine this being quite a sort of important structure at one point, because of the fact that it is sort of, we're on Thanet, so again, you can follow this sort of cabling and where this section's collapsed. Look at that for chalk. Yeah, there you go, look, you can see where that's fallen down. And it's all fallen down on here. Completely collapsed. And at some point that's going to go as well by the look of it. Oh, and that. It's probably the most unstable room. Yeah, look. In fact, the chalk's actually already crumbled. It just needs a bit of white rain and moisture, severe, and that'll go because it's held up by rust. And then this is the signals room. Again, looking down. So this is the signals room. Can you see that? SIGs. These huge pipes coming down. Look at that. So at some point, that probably would have had operational signals sort of related equipment down here in these little bits here. So probably would have actually been quite a sort of, might have been quite loud down here. Might have been, again. My torch, God bless it's going to go. But yeah, look at that. So much graffiti. Huge concrete slab, look, going across. Bit of wooden framing. Bit of wiring there. Looking down. This is the interesting bit. Now, nice bit of pot. Probably left over from the workers. Now, this is the interesting part of the, well, what I think is the interesting part of the battle headquarters is because they reckon that this bit, this entrance, even though you can see that there looks like there's been cabling, it was unfinished by the workers. Yeah, so this one, there's potential that this one was never actually ever finished. So no steps that we can see, but you can still see that there would have been, from looks of it, some electrical cabling there. If you can see, look, there's the continuation of it. But never finished. And also, it probably looks a little bit worse where because the actual extra demolition that they were, well, not demolition, but the actual, well, no, I suppose so. Tried to infill it, all three entrances. But you can see they tried to sort of continue it. So it's a sort of, you know, bit of a slapdash approach. Again, you can see a bit of wooden framing that would have gone across on these. But yeah, that's the interesting part for me, because that potentially wasn't finished, or properly finished, apparently. But the other two entrances were, that we've seen. So we'll walk back now. Again, you know, not much to see, but enough there. That roof's going to collapse at some point. Such a shame. See if I can't use my other torch now, I think. Yeah, let's try and use the other one. Sorry about this, everyone. There you go. It's a bit better. Let's try and keep it going. corridor split into two with 4 internal sections. That's pretty much it. This torch is actually working really well, this one. Always good to bring backups. Brick, which is actually being pushed apart by the chalk. Can you see it's coming apart? Nature is desperately trying to tear that apart. And then coming out, looking up at what would have probably been the main entrance. In fact, actually up above, that would have been pretty much the main entrance coming down. And yeah, maybe some guard unit, not sure on that. I'm really interested about that bit. Like I said, there's a limit to my knowledge. Like I said, coming back again. And then walk round. So, the main tunnel, very unusual design in a certain way, because it sort of reminds you almost, I mean they were designed by the same people who did the deep shelters all around Dover and that lot, so it will look familiar to people who are around this area. But yeah, there you go. A little wander around. Back up to our steps, probably obviously the best condition. Look at that. Just that typical design, isn't it, that we see these battle headquarters that are locally around here. And that, like we said before, you know, whether you're in Tunbridge Wells or wherever you go, this would all look quite familiar to you, especially in Dover, because apparently it was made by the same Canadian Army Corps engineers who came here, apparently. So it would all look familiar to you, which it sort of does. So, but yeah, there we go. Actually, do you know what? I'll say now. Let's get something a little bit stronger. Right, okay, there we go. So, any more words of Phoenix history? Thank you as always for watching. Hope you really enjoyed this little tour around and the history and everything else. And I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye for now. Bye. Kapow.